Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elle and today I'm going to be doing a angsty romance book recommendation for you. So I'm super excited for this video. I have been reading some really good angsty romances and I love angsty romances. I think they're so good. I just love the tension and the angst and the like we can't be together but I want to be with you kind of thing, and I just love it. So let's get right into this video. The first book I want to talk about is 5 Rounds by Nikki Castle. So I recently read this for a sports romance reading vlog and I just absolutely fell in love with this story. It is just so incredible. Our hero and heroine absolutely detest each other, and so our heroine, she gets basically kicked out of her apartment because her landlord needs the apartment for his family or something weird, and so she has to scatter to find somewhere to live, and she's like, can I stay with you, to her best friend Jax, and he's like, sure. And she is staying with Jax for about 2 weeks, and Tristan is Jax's roommate, and Tristan and Remy absolutely detest each other, and it is so funny. Tristan is an MMA fighter and they both go to the same gym. Remy likes to fight, but she's not in the professional world, doing tournaments and all that and fights, and so they start having this really hot hate to love chemistry between them, and it is so good. This book is so spicy and amazing and I just absolutely loved it. I love seeing the fighting scenes between them, and it is just so good. I really love this one. If you want to read a good spicy MMA fighter romance, I highly recommend this one. This was my first MMA fighter romance, I think, with seeing actual fights and stuff, which I really liked. Yeah, so definitely go check this one out. It is amazing. The next book I want to mention is Waking Olivia by Elizabeth O'Rourke. So our heroine is basically a track star. She is known for track, and she was at a D1 school for track, but then she had to move to a D3 school because she's been having a lot of problems being on the track team because she night runs and she sleep runs, she runs in her sleep. And so now she's on this new team and she's the best person on this team, but lately she keeps showing up really tired at practice, and it is a romance between her and her coach, who is only 2 years older than her, and he is just so frustrated with her because he wants her to do well and wants her to succeed, but she keeps being tired, and he is trying to understand, but he's kind of mean to her about it. And so once she finally tells him I sleep run, he starts waking up with her and running with her, and it's really good. It kind of starts off this friendship and then blooms into a relationship, and he is actually in a relationship at the time, so there does deal with, I think, some cheating. But this one is so angsty, and I just loved how much he cared for her and wanted her to succeed and wasn't creepy, but just they had this attraction and they couldn't stay away from each other, and it's so good. If you want a really good angsty sports romance, definitely pick this one up. So the next one I want to mention is The Penalty Box by Odette Stone. So I have been binge reading this whole series on Hoopla, and this is definitely my favorite one. So Micah, the hero, is a hockey player, and he's gotten in some hot water, and he needs to marry somebody. He made a deal with his hockey, the CEO of the hockey team, so if he marries somebody, then he can stay on the team. And so he ends up marrying his PR, one of his PR people, Charlie, which is the heroine, and she absolutely hates hockey, but she's always been kind of attracted to Micah from a distance, and so they start this fake marriage. But Micah takes it seriously, it is a real marriage. He is you will not be with anybody but me. He's very protective over her, and one of the main reasons why she agreed to do this marriage was because she needed money, because her brother is in a bad spot with some mafia type thing, I think. And so then she starts getting scared, and there's a stalker hanging around her, and Micah's no way, I'm not gonna leave you, very protective over her, and they have insane chemistry, and it is so good. But she doesn't want to give in because she knows this is not a real marriage and it'll be up in a year, but she can't like stop herself from wanting to be with Micah, and it is so good. Micah is probably my favorite out of all of these heroes in the series. I just think he is so hot, and I love how protective he is over Charlie. This one is just so good, and it has a lot of hockey in it, and it's just the perfect mix of a sports hockey, angsty, romance, and I just loved it so much. The next book I want to talk about is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. So this is one of her newest releases, or her newest release, and it is kind of marriage and trouble, but also divorced couple. So our hero and heroine have been divorced for 2 years now, and the hero is finally starting to go on, like, maybe starting a different relationship, and the heroine is like, whoa, like, I thought I was okay with you being with somebody else, but now she's starting to catch feelings for him again. And this is a very emotional, heavy book that deals with the loss of a child and depression and anxiety, and so if any of that triggers you, and I definitely check on Goodreads the other triggers, because this is a very heavy book, but I just love this one, and just seeing the angstiness of them wanting to be together and still having feelings for each other, but also having the finality of them being divorced. And they also have 2 kids, and they're dealing with, you know, co-parenting and all of this stuff, and the heroine's daughter is very upset with her and gives her a lot of grief about their divorce, and which is understandable. That's normal, I feel like. And it is just so powerful, and I really love this book, and how even though you feel like you know, left a relationship and you felt like that was a done relationship, like I'm over it, but then you kind of realize and you heal on your own, and you're like, well, actually, I think that's my soulmate, and I just needed some space and some time to recover from what we went through. And I just love this book so much. It is so freaking beautiful. It is just so good. Highly recommend. The next book I want to mention is Jasper Vale by Daphne Perry. So this one is more on the lower angst side, I feel like, with some of these other books. I totally forgot to include A Love Letter to Whiskey in this, but whatever, that one's very good if you want. That's, I feel like, the one book that will have the most angst. A Love Letter to Whiskey is the angstiest book I've ever read. Like, it almost killed me because I was like, this is torture. But anyways, so Jasper Vale is a kind of fake marriage, a kind of like drunken one night in Vegas marriage. So our hero and heroine get married in Vegas one night, and they were actually there for a MMA fight for the heroine's sister's husband, and Jasper actually trained the hero from the past book, who was a fighter, and they have like a drunken night together and end up getting married. And so when they go back to the small town that the whole family lives in, Eloise, the heroine, is like, we need to get a divorce, like I can't stay married to you. And Jasper is like, well, let's just stay married because this will be worse if we get a divorce quickly. And that's because Eloise is really trying to take over the Eloise Inn, which she's been managing for years, but her parents haven't believed in her. She's felt like that she can own the inn and be like the sole owner of it without their help. And so she's really trying to prove herself to her parents. And Jasper wants to take Eloise to his ex's wedding to kind of prove to her that he doesn't need her anymore, and they have this really toxic relationship together. But the angstiness is of them just like having this really good attraction to each other, but also like hating that they're in this situation. And it is just really good. I love Jasper. He is up there with Knox for me. Like, I really loved him. And I just loved his character, and I loved the turmoil of Eloise trying to prove to her parents that she can take over the inn. And this was very spicy for a Daphne Perry book. I absolutely loved it. I give it 5 stars. It was incredible. So if you want a really good fake marriage romance that has some angst in it, lower angst, and then some of these other books, I highly recommend. The next book I want to mention is Mile High by Liz Tom Ford. So this one is one of my favorites of, I think I read it this month, where our hero is a hockey player, and I read a lot of sports romances. Like, I binge read a whole hockey romance series, but I'm in my sports romance era, guys. I am loving sports romances right now, so I read a bunch of them. That's why I have a lot of these included on this list. But Mile High, our hero is a hockey player, and our heroine is a flight attendant, and she is the flight attendant for his hockey team and will be staying with the team like the whole season, flying with them. And he has a lot of attraction towards her, and she's like kind of just like turned off by him. It's like, you're just a playboy, you're a bad boy, like get away from me. But they keep running into each other, and they're like, maybe the universe is saying we need to hook up and have one night together. And so they have a one night stand together, and the hero's like, oh my gosh, like I don't think I can just have one night with you. And so he kind of has to convince the heroine to maybe start a relationship with him. And I really love this romance. It's hate to love, angsty, and I just loved how she wanted to be with him, but also didn't believe him that he wasn't this bad boy, because he has this persona in the media that he's this bad boy hockey player, but he's played into that because he thought that that's the only way that people would love him, is if he was this bad boy portrayed in the media. And so he has to really like convince her that that's not him, and he just does like the cutest things to convince her. Like, he buys a dog from the shelter she works at and does all of these cute things, and I just adored this book. It is so good. I loved it so much. I love Z, and I think he is just so hot, and I love his character, and it's just a great sports romance, hate to love. It is so much fun. I really, really love this one. And the last book I want to mention is Whispers of You by Catherine Cowles. This is her newest release. It is a second chance small town romance, and so our heroine and hero were together in high school, and then something happens one tragic night that something really bad happens to the heroine, and the hero basically freaks out and is like, I can't deal with this right now, like this is tipping me over the edge. And so he leaves for 10 years, and now it's 10 years later. He's coming back to town to be with his family, and he's been gone for so long that he really feels really guilty and is like, I should have been gone this long, and I should have just come back to Ren, the heroine, and figured it out with her. And she is so angry at him for leaving, and he feels really guilty about that night and is like, it's all my fault. And she's like, no, I blame you for the 10 years you left, not that one night. And all of these people in this town who were targeted by that night start being killed, and so they think that Ren is going to be next. And so the hero works in security, and he is like, I will take over your security and keep you safe. And so they start rekindling their romance and figuring out their feelings for each other, if they still have feelings for each other, which they do. And it is just so good. I love the angstiness of them wanting to be together, but him not feeling good enough for her, and she just being like, is he gonna leave again? And there was a lot of suspense in this one with the kind of like stalkery person around town, and just like the suspense of what happened that night. And I don't want to say what happened because it's kind of a spoiler, but I just really love this one. I loved the suspense in this one. I thought it was really, really good, and a great new romance from Catherine Cowles. And I think she really set up the next book well, which is a friends to lovers, small town, one bed, forced proximity romance. So I'm very excited for that one, but I absolutely adored this one. All right, well, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I am just so excited that I got to share with you all of the angsty books I've been reading lately. But I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.